Hi everyone, this is Ray with the education team from Swirlydoos Kit Club, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a cute little background that you can do using some clear gesso and some mists. I'm actually going to be using some mists from the kit from January. These two right here are from the Mediums add-on. And then these are two mists that I've already made using the Marion Smith Color Lab from the Tech Kit this month. So I also have some clear gesso. Any brand will do. You do not need Prima. And I'm also going to be using a brush and a palette knife and a stencil. And I'm going to use this one from Memory Box. Any flourish one will do. There's actually even a couple of Prima Damask flourishy ones in the store. And what I'm going to be doing the background on is a wood frame. And I got this frame from Michael's. And I think it cost $2. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do first is I'm actually going to be spraying some of the mist onto my craft sheet here, and I'm going to paint them on. Okay, and that's pretty good. I don't want it to all be covered evenly. I think that looks pretty good. So that needs to dry. Okay, now that this is dry, I'm going to add my stencil, and I'm going to be using clear gesso. I don't normally use gesso when I use my paste, or when I use my stencils. I prefer a paste. But I like the effect of this. Okay, so I'm definitely not going for perfection here, obviously. And the parts that seem kind of abrupt to me where the stencil ended, I'm just going to go ahead and take my finger and kind of rub that. Like that right there. I don't want that straight line, so I can just go ahead, kind of rub it. And if it gets off everywhere that it's onto the corner, I'm just going to rub the gesso like that. And it's just a different effect. So I got impatient when I was trying to let this dry, and I used a heat gun. And I have this Derice heat tool, and it's really hot. It's a lot hotter than the Ranger one. And what I didn't notice right away was that it was actually puffing up the gesso. So it kind of ruined the pattern that's on there, I think. I'm not sure how that's going to turn out, but I actually kind of like it. I think it looks pretty cool. It's got some texture that I really wasn't thinking I was going to get. So we'll just call it serendipity and go with it. So now that I have this all dry, I'm going to go ahead and do some misting. And for an added touch, I'm going to use some of this Irresistible in bronze. And if you haven't used this before, it's basically Goosebumps. It's that texture spray, but it has color. And it's made by the same company, and it has all the same properties. And it's a really good idea for you to rinse out your entire nozzle. Each time you use this, you do it with like in 15 minutes, because otherwise it starts to clog. And I did just use this to make sure it was working, and it's already dried on there. So it's kind of unpredictable when you spray it. And I'm not a fan of using it over here. I'm going to do it for the video, but I'm not a fan of using it on my desk because it kind of gets everywhere. But if you do get this on something, all you have to do is clean it off with alcohol. Regular cleaners don't really work with it, but I use some of the alcohol blending solution. It's the same thing with your archival inks. You can do the same thing. You can wipe it up with that. So if you want to get the little splatters, it says to do it at least 12 inches away. So this frame is completely dry now. I'm pretty impressed with how it came out. It didn't come out how I thought it was going to, but I really like all the colors together, and I like how this clear gesso looks. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate my frame. So it has this back, and I've just cut this. It's a 4x6 piece of paper from the kit. It's that one right there. So it looks like that for now. And I took one of the little cards that come, I think it's the calling cards. Take time to smell the roses. I know everyone's using that, but it's so perfect and it's such a fabulous saying. And I also used that same paper right here. I just flipped it over and I used a Sizzix die. It's a frame die. And I'm going to put that on here. So it's pretty straight. I think that's going to work out. And this little card was just a little too short for this, so I'm just going to add some of the lace that came in the kit. And I've just used some distress ink, again in frayed burlap, to kind of tone it down and put like a creamy color on there. So for my next part, I want to add one of these birds. And these came in the embellishment add-on. And these are the flowers that came in the main kit. And I want to do something like this. I'll glue this off camera just so that I can kind of get my face in there and see what's going on. This also came in the embellishment add-on, and I want to incorporate that. So I've got these other flowers right here. And it has this little piece of red right there, and I kind of want to do a pop color. So I'm going to use some of these little maroon ones, maroon, burgundy, they're maroon. Anyways, I'm just going to kind of place these around, just got to work on my spacing to see exactly what I want to do. I'm probably going to add a couple of the cream ones that came in the main kit, and then I will show you the finishing touches that I'll do on the frame after I put all this stuff on. Alright, so now I have finished adding all of my embellishments. And I didn't tell you that I was going to do that, but I added some of the wax cording that came in the main kit. And I'm pretty much finished with that part of it. And now I just want to add some details, just some finishing touches. I have distress ink and frayed burlap. And I've already done this to some of the parts. I'm just going to kind of randomly finish it up here. Kind of accenting all of the places that I put some of that irresistible, this right here, just to kind of soften that up just a little bit. And that's that. Next, I kind of want to soften it up a little more. I'm going to add some gesso. I'm just going to randomly paint with a paintbrush. And I'm just going to take some silks just to add a little bit of detail. And I think that's all I'm going to do for this project. I think it looks pretty complete. I'm pretty happy with how the frame came out. Even though it got kind of puffy, I think it still looks pretty good. And this is my frame that I've made with the January kit. So I hope you like the video. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like us on Facebook and go to swirlydoos.com and see all of the things that we have to offer. Thanks.